There's a particular kind of evening that makes you think, not because anything happened, because nothing did. A lamp in the corner, a book in your hands, the cold pressing quietly against the window, and you warm, still, somewhere between a sentence you just read and a thought that arrived without being invited. You didn't plan to think about anything important. You were just sitting there, in that specific comfort that only comes when the night is cold and the room is warm and nothing is asking anything of you. And then, without warning, it arrives. Not a dramatic thought, not a heavy one, exactly. Just a sudden awareness, like a door opening in a room you thought was a wall. Right now, in this same moment, somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a wave is swallowing a ship. Someone is being born in a room that smells like antiseptic and fear. Someone is taking their last breath in a place no one will find until morning. There are people at the top of mountains where the air is too thin to think clearly. People in submarines moving through total darkness 1,000 meters below the surface. People floating above the atmosphere right now, looking down at a planet that fits inside a window. All of this, now, simultaneous, happening without pause, without announcement. And you are here, by a lamp, in the warmth, turning a page, the same second, the same world, entirely different experiences of being alive, and then something quieter follows. You close the book for a second, not because you finished it, just because something shifted inside you, and you needed a moment to let it settle. A scream, some noise, a little smoke, and then, with absolute certainty, dust. That's one version of what you are. But then you remember, you're the one who just felt something reading a sentence someone else wrote, about a life you never lived, in a time you never knew. You carry grief for people who have been gone for years. You feel homesick for places you've never been. You make plans for next Thursday, while knowing, somewhere quietly in the back of your mind, that you won't be here forever. No animal does that. Nothing else in the known universe does that. And yet the wave doesn't care. The mountain doesn't adjust. The person floating above the atmosphere right now is not thinking about your lamp. There's something strange about trying to describe a feeling. Imagine asking someone blind from birth to describe the color yellow. They can try. Warmth, maybe. Sunlight. Something bright and alive. They'll use every word available to them, reach for every metaphor they know. And still, they'll be pointing at something they've never seen, with tools that were never built for it. We do the same thing with what happens inside us. Joy, grief, that specific weight of a Sunday evening when the week hasn't started yet, but the weekend is already leaving. The feeling of knowing, somehow, before it's even over, that you will remember this moment for the rest of your life. We reach for words, but words were made for things that can be pointed at. Someone will tell you that what you feel is electrical signals, chemical reactions, hormones moving through a system that evolved over millions of years, simply to keep you alive and reproducing. And they're not wrong. But sitting by a lamp on a cold evening, feeling something move through you that has no name and no clear cause, you're not thinking about any of that. You're just inside it, completely, whatever it is. Maybe that's what the bubble is. Not a weakness, not ignorance of the world's enormity, just the only scale at which a human being can actually live. You can know, intellectually, that the ocean is vast and still feel entirely at home in a single room. You can know that time stretches in both directions further than you can imagine, and still feel the full weight of one quiet evening by a lamp. The bubble isn't where you hide from the world. It might be the only place where you're able to feel it at all. The lamp is still on. The book is still open. Outside, the world continues, enormous, indifferent, and somehow not entirely without you.